Because we are true fighters.
Yeah, two fighters.
True fighters.
True, yeah, of course. No, not YouTuber fighter.
Huh?
Not YouTuber fighters. Yeah, of course.
They need to talk and talk shit about the fight because they want to say something. The people know we are great fighters. We want to put a great fight. Yeah. We don't need to talk
I am sure in the end, in the mid of September, we will have one of the greatest fights ever happen in boxing. And I am sure.
Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford is likely to be one of the biggest boxing matches ever, since both fighters are current winners and are revered by their fans as legends. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, just released a new workout video that shows him looking sharp, quick, and focused. He moves easily, throws quick punches, and steps with great accuracy. Fans are thrilled because they think he's in great shape as he gets ready for what could be his biggest fight yet. Also, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. said that Canelo Alvarez is too big and strong for Terence Crawford. He said Crawford hasn't fought at that weight in a long time and doesn't look strong enough to make Canelo respect him. Chavez Jr. thinks that Canelo has a big lead in the fight, which could be 80-20 or 70-30. He agrees that Crawford is fast, but he doesn't think it will be enough. Chavez Jr. also mentioned that Canelo is an excellent boxer who has done his job well. He stated that having Canelo's support means a lot since many people in Mexico and beyond will support him. He also said that he was shocked to see Jake Paul backing Canelo.
Pienso que Canelo es muy fuerte, bueno y grande para Crawford. O sea, el tiempo que él tiene peleando en ese peso, yo Canelo 80-20, 70-30, Canelo. Yo no veo de dónde Crawford le puede ganar.
Rapidez de Crawford.
Sí, o sea, rapidez de Crawford, pero no tiene la potencia como para que Canelo lo respete. Parece, vamos a ver.
Coach Bullet talked about the fight that was going to happen between Canelo Alvarez and Terence. But Crawford described Bud as a wizard in the fight, more experienced than boxers such as Teofimo Lopez and Roy Jones Jr. He thinks that if anyone can defeat Canelo at this point, it is Bud. Bullet noticed that Canelo's movement and mobility have deteriorated with age, and he no longer engages as he once did. He told Crawford to avoid going head-to-head with Canelo early on and instead force him into a technical boxing battle. This allowed Crawford to test Canelo's condition in the later rounds and go for a points win. If the chance to finish him arises, seize it, but not till it is certain.
Before, and I think you mentioned Bud was going to beat Canelo?
Yeah, like I said, Bud is a magician, like Teofimo and like the Roddy, but just more seasoned than the both of those other two. Bud could do it if anybody could do it. At this age, Canelo's movement and mobility is not the same. He's not engaging like he did before. But I want to advise Bud to stand toe-to-toe with him. I would drag him into a boxing match and see his condition and his movement in the later rounds and try to win on points.
Coach Bullet also made it clear that Canelo should not be underestimated. At 168 pounds, he referred to Canelo as the king of that division. And while Canelo's loss at 175 pounds showed his limitations at higher weights, he is still dangerous at super middleweight. Bullet compared Canelo's previous bout against Aris Landy Lara, saying Lara appointed him in the same way Dimitri Bivol did at 175. Still, Canelo got the decisions, probably because to his plan and reputation. Bullet concluded by stating that Crawford has a real shot, calling it a true 50-50 at bout despite the hurdles ahead.
Rules of the pound for pound at 168, we cannot take a Canelo at 168 lightly against Bud Crawford. You see what I'm saying? Canelo is the kingpin of 68. He may have lost at 75 trying to jump out the gym for greatness. You know what I'm saying? The Skull performance was, Skull is a mover, like the Arizona Lara. You know what I'm saying? Lara, to me, beat Canelo, and I feel like Skull really outpointed him, but because of the movement and the game plan ahead, they gave it to Canelo. You understand what I'm saying? So, Bud, I hope you can do it. Canelo that's his division. He was born to fight that weight, and it's just a tough one. But I will give Bud a fair shot, so it's a 50-50 fight.
However, during the fight, Canelo Alvarez made it clear that the forthcoming bout will be between two genuine boxers, not entertainers or social media stars. Himself mentioned that both himself and Terence Crawford are true professionals who do not use trash talk to generate excitement. Canelo stated that while others may speak to gain attention, true boxing fans already understand the importance of this battle. He thinks that the emphasis should be on skill and discipline, not theatrics. For him, this is about offering a fantastic fight between two top athletes who value the sport and are eager to show themselves in the ring.
Because we are true fighters.
Yeah, two fighters.
True fighters.
True, yeah, of course. No, not YouTuber fighters.
Huh?
Not YouTuber fighters. Yeah, of course.
They need to talk and talk shit about the fight because they want to sell something. The people know we are great fighters. We want to put a great fight. Yeah. We don't need to talk
I am sure in the end in the mid of September we will have one of the greatest fights ever happen in boxing, and I am sure of it. I am sure.
Furthermore, Coach Bullet stated that the only reason he slightly favors Canelo over Terence Crawford is because of Canelo's natural bone structure and size at 168 pounds. He acknowledged Crawford's strength, especially after his dominant win over Errol Spence, but pointed out that many think Spence was not the same after his car accident. In Bullet's view, that version of Spence was not elite, making this upcoming fight Crawford's first real challenge against So.
That's my point about the bone structure at 168. See, pound for pound is a real thing. That bone structure is the only thing that's making me go 1% more to Canelo than Bud. You know what I'm saying? So, Bud is strong. They told me, oh, before he fought Earl Spence, Bud's strong. You know, me, Bomac, and the other trainer was going, you know, saying what we had to say to each other. And, you know, he made a good name for himself fighting Earl Spence. But the world knows that's a C-level Earl Spence that he fought after the accident. So this would be his first fight, really fighting somebody that on that level. You know, I wish he was done a couple of years earlier, but hey, you can't count Canelo out at 68. And you think he's not going to be more than ready for Bud than he was for Skull?
Coach Bullet continued by saying that Terence Crawford is no longer obsessed and approaches fights in a variety of methods. He complimented Mayweather's unrivaled brilliance in the ring, describing him as a mental beast with a boxing IQ above all others, and claimed it would be unfair to compare a Mayweather-Canelo bout to a Crawford-Canelo fight. He underlined that this is a different type of job and at a different level. He emphasized his pleasure that both boxers had secured a large payday, saying it was great for Crawford's legacy. Crawford, in his view, deserved to fight Canelo.
Terence got a totally different style to fight. You know, Mayweather is a beast. He's a freaking cerebral monster in the ring. His IQ is way farther than all these guys put together. So we can't compare that Canelo and Mayweather fight to a Bud Crawford and Canelo fight. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a different level for me, man. I just feel, I love the fact that they're fighting for a big bag. I love that. I love they're both gonna be laughing to the bank. I love that for Bud Crawford's legacy. You know what I'm saying? And he earned it, he deserved it to fight Canelo.
Furthermore, Kyron Davis discussed his ideas on fighting Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, giving a new perspective on their impending clash. He noted that preparation will be important, especially when Crawford moves up to 168 pounds. According to Davis, Crawford has already been sitting at a heavier weight and putting in substantial effort throughout training, which should aid with the change. Still, he pointed out that Canelo has a clear advantage in terms of experience at that weight, having competed there for many years. Davis described the fight as a chess match between two really skilled boxers, while Davis feels Crawford has the talent and fighting IQ to compete at any level. He admits that Canelo's power and comfort at 168 may give him the edge in the end. Davis leaned somewhat toward Canelo as the likely winner, but added that if anyone could carry off such a bold approach successfully, it would be Terence Crawford.
You've been in there with Crawford? Yeah. So you've been in there with Crawford, you've been in there with Canelo. What can you take from sparring both of them to gauge what's gonna happen in September?
Preparation is gonna definitely be everything. Crawford adjusting to the 168 pound division. I know he's been sitting at a heavier weight for a while, but like, he's been showing his training and stuff. So that's definitely gonna help him. Canelo experience. Then you got Crawford, got great experience as well. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a good chess match. I expect a great fight. If I had to favor somebody, I would just pick Canelo because of the weight disparity. Canelo is naturally like sits really well at 168, and it's just always tough for a guy to come to 168 and come from that many weight classes up and do something like that. If he does it, if anybody can do it, it'll be Terence Crawford.
Sebastian Fundora thinks Terence Crawford will lose to Canelo Alvarez because of his size and years of expertise at 168 pounds. Fundora praised Crawford as a tremendous fighter, but stated Canelo is more comfortable at that weight. He said that Canelo did not look slow against John Ryder, but rather slightly off in that contest. Fundora also reminded fans that May 31st will be a big night for boxing, with Crawford versus Canelo and Caleb Plant versus Jermall Charlo on the same event.
Crawford beats Canelo
I don't think so.
Why is that? Why do you?
This guy's more comfortable at 168. He's been fighting 168 for 4 or 5 years now. Crawford's a great fighter, but we'll see. Boxing, anything can happen.
Did it look like Canelo was slowing down against Skull?
No, I think it's just something he's uncomfortable with.
Mickey Day gave a fresh viewpoint and expressed hope for Crawford's potential. He mentioned that Crawford does not need to gain a lot of weight for the contest. DA believes Crawford should try to stay between 165 and 168 pounds without going over, citing the importance of maintaining his speed and movement. My opinion, I would not come in strongly. In my viewpoint, I would come in at 65 Van Weyde. Same for the battle. He said that if Crawford comes in around the 160s and keeps his sharpness and great conditioning, he may be able to outpoint Canelo. Bay mentioned how Floyd Mayweather managed fighting at 154 pounds by remaining close to his normal weight rather than adding too much. He thinks Crawford can follow a similar technique.
He can come in at whatever, like Floyd, like 154. Yeah, Floyd can't get up to 180, but Floyd probably was in the walk around, he can get up to 60, 65 probably when he not doing nothing. But when he trained, it's gonna drop in the 50s. So basically, when Floyd in shape, he always in his 50s, 160 and down. So when he fought Canelo, he still ain't gained weight because he might have weighed 150 and weighed 150 on fight, not at 150.
Richardson Hitchens stated that Crawford might have a chance to win. Nevertheless, he noted that Crawford is not the same type of boxer as those who have previously defeated Canelo, such as Floyd Mayweather or Dimitri Bivol. Nonetheless, Hitchens thought Crawford possessed the intelligence and talent to devise his own game plan. Crawford, who is known for his ring savvy, does not need to copy others. Instead, he must rely on his own unique style. However, Hitchens did not feel a knockout would occur. He noted that Canelo had never been stopped before and questioned if even someone as skillful as Crawford could be the first to do it.
All right, my brother Canelo, not me. I like Crawford in this fight, and he gets to stay big. But my brother even told me that was his mistake that he made. He thought going up in weight, I gotta get massive, I gotta get big to beat Canelo. It made him slower, it made his reflexes slower. He'll tell you himself. He didn't feel like the Jermall Charlo that y'all seen him fight Tony Harrison. Crawford, I feel like that's the same thing as that. You want to get big to try to absorb Canelo punches and all this, but that's not, technically, that's not the Crawford that we're gonna see. And then Crawford going up there to fight Canelo at 68, when he's not a 68 pounder, where's the motivation? Y'all gotta think about it like
Big
that.
for Crawford.
The money is good, but I don't expect Terence Crawford to be the Terence Crawford that was knocking out Gamboa, doing all. I don't expect that type of Terence Crawford.
But does it look Canelo?
I'm not picking either one of them.
Jermall Charlo emphasized that Crawford should not strive to match Canelo's stature. Instead, he should defend what makes him unique, which is agility, mobility, and smart fighting. He warned that adjusting too much only to handle a new weight could result in failure. Jermel thinks Crawford must keep to his best fighting style if he is to have a realistic chance of winning.
All the people who think Crawford would even have a single chance against Canelo, they're fucking stupid.
Really, you have a way with words like nobody else.
No, bro. I hate it when people say that. They're fucking stupid.
Rolando Romero saw the bout as one-sided, comparing it to Amir Khan's aborted bid to face Canelo. Romero saw the size discrepancy as too big to ignore. He felt that even with all of Crawford's abilities, it would be unable to counter Canelo's strength and force. Romero expected the battle to end quickly and decisively in Canelo's favor. Eddie Hearn took a more cautious approach, focusing on Crawford's list of career achievements. Although he accepted Crawford's high level of talent, he questioned whether Crawford had defeated enough top-tier opponents to be included among the all-time greats. Hearn cited Crawford's mention of Ricky Burns as a huge triumph, implying that, while Crawford has been impressive, the quality of competition he has faced may not be good enough to cement his legendary reputation.
It's what, 36, 35,
37, turning 38.
You know? Like, and by the way, he's an outstanding fighter, but the problem is with Bud, and I said this to him on the flight, I said, you never got the chance to build an amazing resume because there was no one for you to fight. Like, and I was like winding him up. I said, tell me your best win. And he's like, Ricky Burns. That's what he said. Ricky Burns is my fighter, 3-division world champion. But I said, he was a great fighter, but he's not going to go down in history, Ricky Burns, as like an all-time great. You're telling me that was your best win? Well, Errol Spence, but even he acknowledges that Errol Spence, you know, was probably a little bit, and Bud could beat all the greats, but he never really got the chance, and that's why this fight's really important for him and to him. And after watching Canelo against Skull, and I know it was Skull, and I think he's the fresher guy in there, and I very rarely back against Canelo Alvarez, but it would not surprise me at all if Crawford won that.
Jose Benavidez Sr. expressed a more gloomy outlook, predicting that the bout will be uninteresting, with Crawford likely to avoid direct exchanges and stay defensive, similar to how William Skull and Jermel Charlo conducted their fights with Canelo. Benavidez Sr. thinks Crawford will not take the necessary risks to properly challenge Canelo, and the contest may not produce the excitement supporters want.
You know, he's coming up 2 divisions to fight Canelo Alvarez, and you think he's going to go toe-to-toe with Canelo? Come on, man. You know, Terence Crawford's a great fighter, really good fighter, but that's too much weight for him. So he's going to try to survive and move around and try to win the round. That's what's going to happen. I think Canelo at this stage right now, his legs are not the same. You know, the body's not responding the same. So I think he's going to have problems trying to catch Terence Crawford, to be honest with you. And I think it's going to be the same fight. You know, I think it's going to be a boring fight. It's going to, I'm hoping that, you know, it's a little bit exciting because I heard that Canelo was the worst fight ever on pay-per-view to throw the less punches in history. So we're hoping to see a great fight, a good fight, but that matchup is not a matchup to be excited.
That ends today's video. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts regarding the fight? We'd love to hear your views, so leave them in the comments area. And remember to subscribe and like if you liked the video.